False colors might be the most important tool in BMPCC 4K, and if you want to set your exposure correctly each time, you definitely should learn how to use them. You can turn on false colors by clicking F1 button by default, or by clicking in the left corner and false colors on. Think of it as a guide that measures the real amount of light in your image. Sometimes BRAW footage can look misleading and you might think that it's exposed correctly, but after color grading the image, it turns out that your shadows are completely black or your highlights are clipped. It's very useful to have the second function key set as Display LUT, and then you can see how it will look after color grading. Of course, you can fix something in the post-production, but it will be just fixing and not exposing properly. And now quickly how to use it. So as you can see right now, behind the window everything is completely red. That means that the highlights are clipped. So we are not getting any details in this light, it's only pure white. That says that I should definitely darken my image. But you can see that if I do it, the purple color starts to appear, and this is exactly on the opposite side. I'm losing details in the darkness, so it becomes pure black. In most cases, if you have to choose one, so underexposing or overexposing, it's better to underexpose, because it will be easier to recover shadows than highlights. And I know that now it can seem complicated, but in no time you will learn how to read false colors, and it will be like second nature for you. Okay, but what's the deal with the colors in between and how to set it up perfectly? In most cases, I will try to expose the main subject to be somewhere between the green and the pink color. The pink color works well for light skin, and the green color works better for the darker skin tones. So in this case, first thing that I will make sure is to get rid of the highlight clipping. So I will make the image darker by increasing the aperture. And now, as you can see, the background is at least not completely clipping. But if you want to focus the scene on our subject, they are probably too dark. You can see that it's blue color, but sometimes it even goes into purple. It's definitely too dark. If you don't have lights, it would be the best to leave the image as balanced as possible, with enough details in the highlights and shadows, and try to recover the details in shadows in post-production. But if you care about your subject only and don't care about overexposing the background, you can just brighten your image so that your subject is correct, but then you will lose the details. If you have lights, however, I would darken the image so that the highlights are not clipped. And now it's time to turn on the lamp. I will show you how it looks in false colors. The subjects are lit. I should have much stronger lamp anyways, but that's all I have, so I just want to show you how it works. So that's how it looks with the lamp, and that's how it looks without the lamp. So now you know the basics, that you should probably avoid purple color and for sure avoid red color. But are there scenarios where you should use those colors as well? Yes, there are, but you have to do it intentionally. Don't be afraid to overexpose very strong lights. For example, if you are filming the sun, look at the sun and it's normal that it will burn your eyes, and that's why it will be also overexposed in your film. If you would like to darken the image and correct the exposure to not clip the sun, everything else would be completely dark, because that's just how bright the sun is. And exactly the same rules apply to the very dark areas. For example, if you have very dark cave and next to it is very bright sky, you won't make perfect exposure for both of those. You can use lights in the cave to match the exposure, like in the example in the studio, or you have to choose which one you will sacrifice. It would be normal to sacrifice the cave because it's what it looks like, it's realistic. Always try to think how the scene looks like in real life, so use your eyes, that's the best tool you have to measure light, and think what you see. If something is very dark and everything around it is very bright, you won't see the things in the darkness. It's only until you get into the dark area that you are able to see it. And my biggest advice that I learned after hours and hours of filmmaking is to first trust your eyes and then use false colors. What does it mean exactly? Let me tell you. First, I tried to expose each scene the same, so I knew that I should have somewhere around green or pink subject, and everything else should be not clipping on shadows and highlights. And that is kind of okay, but not always. But now I know that I should focus on the real life first. So look at the subject, look at the scene with your real eyes, not through the camera, and see. If the scene is dark overall and there are no strong lights, then you shouldn't expose everything like it was the middle of the day in bright sunlight. Everything will be darker and your subject will be darker as well. For example, if you're in a forest, it's completely normal that somewhere around the tree trunks in the distance there will be some blue or even purple, because there is an area of shadows. The biggest enemy that you will have is overexposing. You can conquer it mostly with ND filters, but if something is too dark but the subject is lit correctly, it's probably because the scene just looks like it and you don't always have to correct the reality. Maybe you want to achieve a creative effect with the silhouettes, like for example silhouettes of horses on the sunset. You probably should have a bit of purple on your subject because the subject will be dark anyways. Think about what you want to show to the viewer and what the scene looks like. And of course, especially working with Blackmagic RAW, you can fix a lot in post-production. You can darken your image or you can change contrast, but it's all about capturing the highest dynamic range possible. If you are closer to overexposing or underexposing whole image, you are losing dynamic range, and that's what lets you work with your image that precise. If you want to know more, check out this video next. If you liked it, leave a like and subscribe, it really helps. Thanks for watching, and remember, let your films be shot by reality.